This meeting is now being recorded.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to take one more stab at trying to get a sense of which commission members are on before we gavel in, if that's okay.
Please.
Commissioner Dishner, are you on?
Yes, I'm here.
Very good. Commissioner Winton?
I'm here.
Fantastic. Commissioner Watson?
Here.
And Commissioner
I'm
Wharton?
Here. What name did you call?
That you, Mr. Mayor. I got you.
I'm here.
Commissioner, fantastic. Commissioner Coben? Dr. Morrison?
Yes, I'm here.
I think,
Mike.
okay. Thank you, Sarah. I think regardless, Mr. Chairman, at this point we have a quorum and we can commence the formal meeting.
Thanks very much. Okay, thanks, Mike. All right, ladies and gentlemen, at this point I'm going to call the special called meeting of the Tennessee Higher Education Commission to order. I want to thank everyone for calling in and participating in this meeting this afternoon. There are a couple of things I want to mention before we take attendance and call the roll. Just obviously, as we all know, we're all calling in and participating remotely via telephone. If you would, please be careful not to put us on hold during the call. If you have music that plays on hold, then obviously we all get the benefit of listening to that music, and that might interfere with us trying to transact business. The second point I want to make is that if you would, please, before you speak, if you would identify yourself and be recognized. Obviously, since we can't see each other, it's hard to tell who's talking and who's making a motion and who is making a second. So if you have anything you want to say or you want to make a motion or second, please identify yourself. With that, we will move on to the section of the agenda where we will take attendance, and pursuant to Governor Lee's Executive Order 16, since we're all participating remotely, when the roll is called, please indicate whether anyone else is with you at your location witnessing this meeting. Shauna, if you would please call the roll.
Chairman Cope.
Here.
Commissioner Dishner.
I'm here and alone.
Commissioner Johnston.
Here and alone.
Commissioner Coben.
I'm here and alone.
Commissioner Moser. Commissioner Stafford.
I am here and alone.
Commissioner Watson.
Here and alone.
Commissioner Winton.
I'm here and alone.
Commissioner Morrison.
Here and alone, except for an infant who I will try to keep quiet.
Secretary Hargett.
Here and alone.
Commissioner Wharton.
Here and alone.
Comptroller Wilson.
I'm right here. Ain't nobody with me.
Treasurer Lillard.
Here and alone.
Commissioner Riley.
Here and alone.
Okay, Chairman, you have a quorum.
That's great. Thank you, Madam Secretary. We might be the loneliest group of state officials in on a meeting right now. All right. Next item on the agenda is an electronic participation necessity statement that needs to be read for the record. Madam Secretary, if you would, please.
Chairman Cope and Commission members, in Executive Order Number 16, Governor Bill Lee suspended Tennessee's open meeting laws as necessary to allow a governing body to meet by electronic means and conduct essential business under certain conditions if the governing body determines that meeting electronically is necessary to protect the health, safety, and welfare of Tennesseans in light of the COVID-19 outbreak. The conditions are live access to the meeting by the public if possible, no adjustment to existing quorum, meeting notice, or voting requirements, Clear notice to the public of the meeting agenda and how to access the meeting in a manner reasonably accessible to members of the public. Each part of the meeting subject to the Open Meetings Act must be audible to the public. Each member participating electronically must be able to simultaneously hear each other and speak to each other during the meeting. Any member participating electronically shall identify the persons present at the location from which the member is participating. Each member participating electronically must be provided before the meeting with any documents that will be discussed at the meeting with substantially the same content as those documents actually presented. All votes taken during a meeting shall be by roll call vote, and electronic participation allows a member to vote but does not make a member eligible for a per diem. The Tennessee Higher Education Commission has ensured that each of the required conditions have been met. For purposes of this THEC meeting, we are using a global conference line that accommodates 300 participants with a listen-only code for members of the public and a guest code for commission members and commission staff with items on today's agenda. The guest code allows users to hear all participants and make comments when necessary. Notice of the meeting, agenda, materials, call-in number, and applicable codes were posted to the THEC website and emailed to members of the commission last week. All votes will be by roll call, and there have been no changes to existing quorum, meeting notice, or voting requirements. Each member has introduced themselves and listed all persons at their respective location. Lastly, members will be considered present for voting purposes, but not for purposes of a per diem. All conditions listed in Executive Order Number 16 having been met, the only remaining item needed to ensure compliance with the Open Meetings Act and Executive Order Number 16 is for the Commission to determine that meeting electronically is necessary to protect the health, safety, and welfare of Tennesseans in light of the COVID-19 outbreak. Chairman Cope, that completes my comments.
Thank you very much, Madam Secretary. The floor is open for a motion to that effect, please.
Mr. Chairman, this is Vernon Stafford. I move that meeting electronically is necessary to protect the health, safety, and welfare of Tennesseans in light of the COVID-19 outbreak, and that Mrs. Jennings' comments be included in the minutes of this meeting.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Stafford, for the motion. Is there a second?
Justin, second.
Very good. Thank you, Comptroller Wilson, with the second. Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Secretary, would you please call the roll?
Chairman Cope.
Aye.
Commissioner Dishner.
Aye.
Commissioner Johnston.
Aye.
Commissioner Coben.
Aye.
Commissioner Stafford.
Aye.
Commissioner Watson.
Aye.
Commissioner Winton.
Aye.
Secretary Hargett.
Aye.
Commissioner Wharton.
Aye.
Comptroller Wilson.
Aye.
Treasurer Lillard.
Aye.
Commissioner Riley.
Aye.
Chairman, you have 12 ayes.
Very good. The motion is carried. Next item on the agenda is adoption of the agenda. Unless there are any questions or objections about the agenda, I think you've all seen it. It's short. We've got 2 items to consider. But at this point, the chair will entertain a motion to adopt the agenda as presented.
So moved. Justin. Justin, second.
I didn't hear who made the motion.
A.C. Wharton.
All right, Mayor Morton with the motion, Comptroller Wilson with the second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Chairman Cope.
Aye.
Commissioner Dishner.
Aye.
Commissioner Johnston.
Aye.
Commissioner Coben.
Aye.
Commissioner Stafford.
Aye.
Commissioner Watson.
Aye.
Commissioner Winton.
Aye.
Secretary Hargett.
Aye.
Commissioner Wharton.
Aye.
Comptroller Wilson,
Aye.
Treasurer Lillard,
Aye.
Commissioner Riley.
Aye.
Chairman, you have 12 ayes.
Very good. The motion carries. The agenda is adopted. Okay, the next item is my report, and I want to, again, thank everyone for participating in this specially called meeting and for making time to do that. Obviously, we've all had to adjust to a great deal of change over the past few months. This meeting clearly is no exception to that. For our students, this has meant switching to online classes and engaging in socially distanced graduations. For many of our adult students now working from home, it's meant juggling being a student and a parent throughout the day. For faculty and staff, it's meant finding ways to continue their great work in entirely new formats. I've really wrestled over the past few weeks with how we can best serve our students and our institutions and our state during these really tumultuous times. How do we steady the ship and provide meaningful relief and opportunities for Tennesseans? I keep coming back to one key area, and that's affordability. Today, we will vote on tuition and mandatory fee rates for the upcoming year. Our goal is the same as always, to make Tennessee the greatest state in the nation for higher education. To do this, we aim to keep Tennessee higher education as affordable as possible while providing ample opportunity for Tennesseans to engage. I feel confident that the tuition and fee recommendations before us today will do exactly that. Finally, if I may take a moment of personal privilege to acknowledge Commissioner Celeste Riley. Each year, a student serves on the commission, as you all know, on behalf of higher education students in our state. Commissioner Riley from the University of Memphis has served as our student member for the past year. I, along I know with the rest of you, have been thoroughly impressed by Commissioner Riley's service over the past year. She's been a steadfast champion of student voices and has served on this commission with honor and with integrity and with passion. Our state is better today for having had Commissioner Riley serve in this capacity. As this will be Commissioner Riley's last meeting, I want to take a moment to say we cannot thank you enough, Celeste, for your service, and we wish you all the very best in the future. Thank you, Celeste. And with that, I will call on Executive Director Mike Krause.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to echo Chairman Cope's thanks to you, Commissioner Riley. As someone, you brought an adult learner perspective that we really needed, and I'm grateful. I also suspect, given your passion for higher education, this won't be the last time our paths cross. So again, Celeste, thank you. And if you'd like, any words you might have for the commission would, of course, be appreciated.
Well, first of all, I was always very honored to be given the opportunity to serve on this committee. As an adult learner, our struggles are unique, but we do have the passion to grow in our education so that we can not only change ourselves, but change our families' trajectory, but also our state. And higher education is my passion, and all education for all students, pre-K through higher education, because that's what's going to change our state to meet the needs that are out there and become innovative and definitely competitive. So I really appreciate the opportunity. Thank you so much.
Moving on, what I'd like to say really briefly to the commission is I think everybody here knows I'm a Tennessee exceptionalist. And today's meeting, I believe, will be yet another depiction of Tennessee doing things that lead the nation. Right now, if you look across the country, higher education has been the first place most governors and general assemblies have gone to enact cuts in the wake of COVID. That has not been the case here. The budget that passed last week actually holds higher education harmless. After working with Commissioner Ely and, of course, the General Assembly over the last few weeks, we've landed at a place where higher education in Tennessee is going to be taking a 0% cut in the coming year. And I hope everybody appreciates the incredible commitment that demonstrates on behalf of the governor and the legislature. There's just not many states that can say that right now. But the other side of the coin is the commitment to affordability that you all have had as a commission. And I want to thank the commissioners who have pressed forward this narrative about low tuition. I think that it was very effective in creating a culture and an atmosphere across the state. And then the next group that we, of course, need to recognize are the campuses and the presidents, because allied to this 0% reduction is that every single public entity in the state will be enacting 0% tuition ranges, essentially a tuition freeze across all of our community colleges, technical colleges, and universities. I know of no other state that can say that right now. I think it is another example of Tennessee stepping forward to do things just a little bit differently. And the most important sum of it, as Dr. Gentile is going to talk about in a moment, is about what this means for students. As we look towards an economic recovery, I think we all believe that higher education is a driver of that economic recovery, not a bystander. And I think it's a very powerful statement to be able to tell maybe the displaced worker, your tuition's not going to go up this fall, or your kid's tuition's not going to go up this fall, and you just lost your job. That reassurance to the Tennessean that may be struggling right now, I would argue is one of the finest hours in Tennessee higher education. And it took a coalition from the governor to the legislature, this commission, our presidents. And I'm very grateful to all of those groups. And of course, grateful, I want to recognize our THEC staff, in particular, Dr. Gentile, Crystal Collins, Alex Monday, all of whom, as you all have seen, we've been in a state of constant analysis since the day that all of the colleges went home. And being able to get here, being able to work in a discourse with the governor and the General Assembly, that process was driven by Steve and Crystal and Alex's hard work. And so I'm very grateful to them. And that concludes my remarks, Mr. Chairman.
Thanks, Mike. Let me add what you didn't mention is that we're all very grateful to you, and you've been very modest, but you, as I think all of us know, worked extremely hard on this issue, on the budget, and on protecting funds for higher education. And I think you deserve a ton of credit, which you, I know, aren't asking for, but I want, on behalf of the commission, to thank you for your leadership and your efforts and for getting us to the good place that we are right now, even under these circumstances.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we have one item on the agenda to consider. We will actually be taking two votes, and I'll explain that shortly, but let's go ahead and hear from Dr. Gentile. He's going to discuss the tuition and fees for 2020 and 2021, what the recommendation is. Dr. Gentile?
Thank you, Chairman Cope, Director Krause, and members of the Commission. As you are aware, every year this body is to set binding ranges for the upcoming academic year, one for tuition and the other for the combined tuition and mandatory fees. These ranges apply to all universities, community colleges, and TCAT, and their respective in-state undergraduate rates. Back in November, the Commission approved a 0 to 2% guiding range, a non-binding range intended to help institutions plan as the Governor and General Assembly consider our appropriation recommendations. This guiding range was made in concert with the $38 million we requested to fully fund growth and outcomes and an estimated 2% salary increase. Initially, the Governor proposed fully funding the growth and outcomes, as well as a 2.5% salary growth. In March, due to the early stages of COVID-19 and financial uncertainty, the Governor's amended budget reduced the salary increase to 1.5%, but maintained fully funding the formula. The amended budget was passed in March, although the General Assembly announced its intention to convene in June to reassess. Finally, last week, the Governor and General Assembly passed a budget removing most cost increases from the March budget, including the $38 million in new funding to our formula units and the 1.5% salary increase. Ultimately, our range is informed by three considerations: student affordability, enrollment and inflation, and state support. In prior times, the removal of additional state support would have us push up our increase in our range. But as Director Krause mentioned, the conversations this commission has put forward with regards to student affordability over the last few years, as well as the great recognition of uncertainty our students are facing, call for us to recommend keeping our ranges at 0 to 2%. A 0 to 2% range allows Tennessee to have the sixth lowest consecutive growth in tuition over the last 5 decades, a record we are all proud of, as we want Tennessee to be the most affordable for higher education. As Director Krause mentioned, I am also happy to note that all institutions, despite a 0 to 2% range, are slated to have no growth in tuition and fees. 5 of the 8 governing boards have already voted on no new growth in tuition and fees, including ETSU on April 24th, MTSU on June 16th, TTU on June 23rd, TBR on June 19th, and, as of this morning, the University of Tennessee system. The other three universities, Austin Peay, Tennessee State, and the University of Memphis, have announced their intention to not increase tuition, and their boards will vote on those proposals in the coming days. Members of the Commission, with the total appropriation levels remaining at where they were this past year, and with the great need to maintain affordability, we are recommending for two separate votes, a 0 to 2% range for tuition and a 0 to 2% range for the combined tuition and mandatory fees. Thank you for your time, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Dr. Gentile?
One moment. You're welcome.
Is there anyone who would like to ask Stephen a question? Okay, hearing none, as I mentioned a couple of moments ago, we're going to take this in two votes. The first vote that we will have is a vote on tuition rates, and then the second vote will be on the combined tuition and mandatory fee rates. So unless there's any question or objection, the floor is open for a motion on the proposed tuition rate.
This is Vernon Stafford. I move that the proposed tuition rate be approved as presented.
Thank you, Commissioner Stafford.
Craig Hargett.
Thank you.
Hargett, I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. So motion by Commissioner Stafford, second by Secretary Hargett to adopt the tuition range as proposed. Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Chairman Cope?
Aye.
Commissioner Dishner?
Aye.
Commissioner Johnston?
Aye.
Commissioner Coben?
Aye.
Commissioner Stafford?
Aye.
Commissioner Watson?
Aye.
Commissioner Winton?
Aye.
Secretary Hargett?
Aye.
Commissioner Wharton? Commissioner Wharton?
I'm sorry, I was muted. Aye.
I've got you. Okay, Comptroller Wilson?
Aye.
Treasurer Willard?
Aye.
Commissioner Riley?
Aye.
Chairman, you have 12 ayes.
Very good. The motion is carried. Next, the floor is open for a motion to approve the proposed combined tuition and mandatory fee rate.
Craig Hargett, I move to approve.
Motion to approve by Secretary Hargett. Is there a second?
Comptroller
Second.
second.
Okay, I heard Comptroller Wilson first, I guess, with a second, and then Commissioner Coben. So we'll mark Comptroller Wilson as the second. Is there any discussion now having received a motion and a second? Hearing none, Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Chairman Cope?
Aye.
Commissioner Dishner?
Aye.
Commissioner Johnston?
Aye, and still alone.
Commissioner
So lonely.
Commissioner Coben?
Aye.
Commissioner Stafford?
Aye.
Commissioner Watson?
Aye.
Commissioner Winton?
Aye.
Secretary Hargett?
Aye.
Commissioner Wharton?
Aye.
Comptroller Wilson?
Aye.
Treasurer Willard?
Aye.
Commissioner Riley?
Aye.
Chairman, you have 12 ayes.
Very good. The motion carries. This concludes our agenda. The next meeting, as you know, will be our regularly scheduled summer meeting. It'll be conducted on Thursday, July the 23rd. And here's hoping that we all have a less lonely weekend than we did a meeting. Unless there's any further business, I will declare the meeting adjourned.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Just a quick question. I understand that the governor's order on social distancing for government officials and meetings will end the 30th of June. Do we know yet whether we will meet in person in July?
That's a good question, Mike.
Yes, sir. Our intent, Commissioner Stafford, is to meet in person. And in fact, we have an exciting opportunity I think many of you are aware of, that we plan on meeting on the campus of Middle Tennessee State University. That is simply because, frankly, there were no government meeting spaces in Nashville that I felt comfortable enough that we could socially distance. MTSU has held board meetings in the age of COVID in person, and I believe every commission member will be able to stay more than 6 feet apart and also give us an opportunity to get out on the campus, which is important. So we're grateful to Dr. McPhee for being willing to host us. If there are commission members with specific health concerns, I'd ask that if you just let me know, we will ensure that there is a dial-in capability. But we are trying to be mindful of the fact, to your point, Commissioner Stafford, the executive order expires. And as such, we would seek an in-person meeting, but will, of course, accommodate those that do not feel that that is going to be in their best health interest. And, first and foremost, looking forward to seeing everybody if possible. Second, always great to get out on campuses and kind of stay grounded in why we do what we do. So we would hope to have logistical information, including a proposed agenda out next week, and we'll wait to hear back any comments or input the Commission may have from that document.
Terrific. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments before we adjourn? Thanks, Commissioner Stafford.
Hi, Evan. This is Dakasha. I have a quick question about the upcoming meeting, and I know that the budget that was passed included some provisions in regards to the budgets and, for boards and commissions and the changing of the budget for those particular boards and commissions. So I wondered if there will be any time for us to talk about that during the next meeting, and specifically what that means for THEC.
That is a great question. Mike, do you have a comment on that?
I do, and thank you, Commissioner Winton, for that, because I think, as the board understands, we're always wearing two hats. On one hand, we are primarily often thinking about the $2.1 billion enterprise that spans all of our campuses. At the same time, though, we have an internal hat, which is this agency, these 114 people, and actually when you count our advised Tennessee cadre, we're much closer to about 170. What I'd say, Commissioner Winton, first, I would like, if Chairman Cope and the board is agreeable to do a deep dive on that at the July meeting. I think it's always helpful for us to walk through our internals. The particular issue that you referenced is significant to this agency. Basically, in the budget bill, a measure was included that would allow the sweeping of agency reserves. And that really means something in our agency relative to our parts of THEC that are funded based on fees. And we do have, particularly our Division of Post-Secondary Authorization, is funded and serviced by the fees we collect as a regulator. As such, I think like any good fiduciary, we maintain a reserve to ensure that there's stability for that part of the agency if there is volatility with fee collection, which there often is. We are absolutely included in that language, Dakasha, and I think that will be an evolving conversation throughout the fall as to which direction the administration decides to go. But I think it's also important to note that while we were able to land in an incredible place with the campuses at a 0% cut, THEC, the agency, will be subject to any commensurate cuts that are made at state agencies. And so if it pleases the Commission, perhaps at the July meeting, we can share with you all what that means at 12% scenarios and also at 8, 6, and 4, if that would be helpful. Is that helpful, Commissioner Winton?
Yes, that's exactly what I was looking for. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah,
we'll be ready in July then. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm so glad, Dakasha, that you brought that up, and I wish I'd thought of that. That's a great point and probably something that we all need to be briefed on. And so, yeah, Mike, thank you. If you'll add that to the agenda, that'd be great.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anything else from anyone? Okay. I hope everybody has a good rest of your day and have a nice weekend. Meeting is adjourned.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.